Hello everyone. Welcome to BYK Book Summary. I am Amin. Here we decode the inspiring journey, mental warfare, and empire building life lesson of the world's greatest legend. Today topics and their biggest secret are right on your screen. Let's dive in with my AI co-host.
Today, we're diving into a book that is an absolute giant, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. I mean, it was written way back in 1936, but here's the crazy part. Its lessons on human connection are maybe more important right now than they've ever been. So let's get into 5 of its most powerful, timeless principles.
So here's what we're going to break down. We're going to look at why criticism almost always backfires. We'll talk about the huge difference between cheap flattery and real appreciation. Then we'll get into the secret of actually persuading people, and finish up with a couple of simple but honestly profound ways to build a real connection with anyone. And if you're wondering just how much impact this book has had, just look at this number. 30 million copies sold. That's not just a book, you know. That's a worldwide phenomenon. And there's a simple reason it's lasted this long. It just works.
And what's really fascinating is who swears by the stuff. The legendary investor Warren Buffett, one of the richest people on the planet, says he read it at 15 and still has his course certificate hanging on his office wall. It's such a powerful reminder that real success, the kind that lasts, isn't just about what you know. It's about how you relate to people. So, that brings us to Carnegie's first and maybe most foundational principle. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Now, I know, that sounds almost too simple, but the psychology behind why this works is incredibly deep.
Carnegie uses this wild example to make his point. He brings up Al Capone. Yep, that Al Capone, one of the most ruthless gangsters in history. And yet, he didn't see himself as a criminal. He saw himself as a public benefactor who was just misunderstood. So, if a guy like that couldn't see his own faults, what chance do you think you have of making a coworker see theirs just by criticizing them?
And that's the whole point right there. Criticism just builds walls. The moment you criticize someone, they get defensive and start justifying everything they did. The alternative? Try to understand why they did what they did. Get curious, not critical. Because understanding, well, that opens the door for a real conversation and actual change.
This leads perfectly into our second principle, which is kind of the other side of the coin. If you're not criticizing, what should you be doing? Well, you should be actively giving honest and sincere appreciation.
And this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good advice. This has real, tangible power. Charles Schwab, who is a giant of American industry, said his $1 million salary, which was unheard of back then, wasn't for his technical genius. It was for his ability to bring out the best in people through appreciation and encouragement. Now, Carnegie is super clear about the difference here. Flattery is lazy, it's generic, people can smell it from a mile away. Saying good job is fine, but it doesn't really land. Real appreciation, though, that's specific. It's honest. You point to exactly what they did and why it was great. That's what makes people feel truly seen and valued.
Okay, principle number 3. This might be Carnegie's most famous insight, the one that really gets to the heart of influence. It's all about this idea of arousing an eager want in the other person.
He explains it with this perfect metaphor. Think about fishing. You might love strawberries and cream, but you don't put that on the hook to catch a fish, right? No way. You use worms, because that's what the fish wants. It's so obvious when we talk about fishing, but we forget it all the time when we talk to people.
So the $1 million question is always this. Are you talking about your needs, or are you talking about their needs? The only way on earth to get someone to do something is to make them want to do it. You have to connect what you want to what they want. It's that simple and that hard.
All right, our fourth principle takes the focus completely off of us and puts it squarely on the other person. And it's all about this. Be genuinely interested in other people.
I mean, that quote just says it all, doesn't it? We spend so much time trying to be interesting, trying to show people how cool or smart we are. Carnegie says, forget all that. Just be interested. That real, authentic curiosity about who someone is, it's like a magnet. It's the absolute fastest way to build a real connection.
And for a masterclass in this, just look at President Theodore Roosevelt. The guy was a genius at this. Before he met with anyone, he'd stay up late reading about whatever they were passionate about. So when a rancher came to visit, they talked about cattle. He made every single person he met feel like they were the most important person in the world.
And that brings us to our fifth and final principle. This one might actually be the simplest one on the entire list, but don't let that fool you. Its impact is absolutely huge.
It's so true, isn't it? A person's name is more than just a label. It's their identity. When you remember and use someone's name, you're sending a message, loud and clear. I see you. You matter. You are worth remembering.
Forgetting a name feels like a tiny rejection, but remembering it feels like a genuine compliment. And look, it's a skill, not a magical talent. You can learn to be better at it. When you meet someone, say their name back to them. Write it down after you leave. Just a little bit of effort here goes such a long way.
So, when you pull all 5 of these principles together, what do they really tell us? They tell us that even though the world has changed in a million ways since 1936, the fundamentals of human nature haven't changed one bit. People still crave appreciation, they long for understanding, and they respond to genuine care.
And that's the bottom line. The person who really gets these concepts, who masters them, has an incredible advantage in life. Because let's be clear, people skills are not soft skills. They're real skills. They're powerful skills. They are the skills that actually drive success.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. As you go about the rest of your day, just keep these 5 principles in the back of your mind and ask yourself, which one of these could I try to practice right now to make a connection in my own life just a little bit?
दोस्तों, ये था आज का पूरा निचोड़। BYK बुक समरी के इस ग्रोथ गिफ्ट यानी इस इन्फोग्राफिक का स्क्रीनशॉट जरूर ले लीजिए ताकि ये लेसन आपके लाइफ में काम आ सके। अगर आप भी हर रोज लीजेंड से सीखना चाहते हैं तो इस कम्युनिटी का हिस्सा बनिए। मैं हूं अमीन, हमेशा याद रखिए, रीड मोर थिंक डीपर। अगली वीडियो किस पर होनी चाहिए कमेंट में जरूर बताएं। मिलते हैं अगले एपिसोड में।